everyone, Dave Barlow here with the gang, including Ryan Cochran with NFM Lending. And Ryan, you're going to talk with us a little bit about what's going on with interest rates, where we're at today, and where we've been. I was just looking at some notes here. Things seem to have peaked around 7 1/8, 7 1/4 last November. And then since then, we've just kind of been trailing down, up, down, up, down. Last week, we were up a little bit. This week, it looks like we're back down a hair. Tell us what you think, where we're at currently today. Today is January 18th. So happy 18th to you.
Yes, sir.
Where do you think we're going to go from here?
Yeah, it's a great question. So, you already mentioned it there. We are seeing that the interest rates are starting to go down since, we hit that peak in around mid to end November. We saw them go down like the first 2 weeks of December, they went up a little bit, the last 2 weeks of December, and then the new year hit, and we've seen them steadily kind of go down. Depending on the day, they might go up that specific day a little bit, but then they'll go back down, 1/8%. So we're definitely seeing it go down. I think it's going to continue to go that trend throughout all of 2023. I think I mentioned this the last time that we had this conversation. Fannie Mae predicts that they're by April of this year, so the beginning of the second quarter, that interest rates could be as low as 4.5 to high 4s in that area and ballpark.
Okay.
So yeah, and I'll send you guys that link as well, just so you guys have that. But I personally do not believe that it's going to be that low by the beginning of April. I think that it's going to follow this trend that we're seeing it, where it's steadily going down very, very slowly. I think when we're going to see it in the mid 4s to high 4s again is in 2024, when the presidential election, I think, is going to push it into lowering the interest rates. But I think we're going to continue to see interest rates continually get lower very slowly. More people are now buying and trading the mortgage-backed security bonds. So obviously, if more people are going to start to buy mortgage-backed security bonds, that's a good thing for interest rates, because interest rates will start to go down because of that. So people are knowing that the market's getting, and people are knowing that with the interest rates going down, sellers now, especially going into, and you guys probably have even more knowledge and information on this than I do, but typically we'll see that sellers, which is a good thing, are going to start listing a lot more aggressively towards the end of winter time, beginning of springtime, which we did not see that, and sellers were tending to hold on just a little bit longer than probably what they wanted to, because the interest rates were higher and not as many people was creating that bidding war that we were used to seeing, a year ago.
Right.
But yeah, for those reasons, that's why I think that it will continue to go down. So, which is a good thing for everybody.
Yeah, I think that with Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae, 4.5% by April, or even mid-April, I think is very, very optimistic.
I agree.
It would seem like to me, just on the trend line that we have right now, and I think maybe last time we talked, the talk was by April, maybe mid 5s. And that makes a lot more sense to me by the time we get to April, that we're going to be 5 to 5.5% at the current trend line. 4.5 seems very optimistic by our good friends in the federal government.
Yeah. I agree 100%. I think that I obviously want that to happen.
Well, sure.
I want Fannie Mae to be correct, and everybody just starts buying up mortgage-backed security bonds, because that's ultimately what interest rates are pending off of anyway.
Right.
But so if everybody starts buying up mortgage-backed security bonds and it definitely dips down low into the mid 4s, then awesome, would be an incredible time for going into the spring and summertime.
So I have a question for you, and just kind of along the lines of what we do. We have a number of listings. We primarily work with sellers. We do have buyers that we work with as well, which is how, you know, we're developing our relationship with you beyond the pitch. And for people who don't understand what that means, I get a big kick when I drive by lower.com field. Shouldn't it be lower.com pitch?
Pitch, technically,
right?
But we also call, you know, soccer and not football. So
right, but still, it's still a pitch, and that's to me the correct terminology. But beyond all that, my question, my question being, with what we're seeing on the listing side, it seems like to me that the buyers that were looking a year ago that had that 3% interest rate are the ones that kind of went to the sidelines as interest rates peaked in November at 7%. And I think that those buyers, for the most part, are still on the sidelines. What I think we're seeing now is a new crop of buyers that are coming into the marketplace, and for lack of a better term, don't know what they could have bought for the same payment at 3% last year, and they're the ones buying now. Are you seeing a new crop of buyers come in for loans?
Yeah, I would agree with you on that as well. The other people that we are seeing is the individuals that are taking advantage of not the higher interest rates, but taking advantage of it not being such an aggressive seller's market, because now the buyers are not having to pay that, you know, 30 to 50,000 over listing price, and sellers aren't getting, depending on the area, sellers aren't getting, you know, 10 to 20 different offers on their house. So they're not having to be as aggressive. I think that those are the individuals who that's who we're tending to see, is the individuals that are able to afford the higher interest rates and qualify with the higher interest rates and take advantage of, you know, not having to pay a huge purchase price and keep more money in their pocket because of that reason. Right. And then, you know, what they're planning to do is just doing a refinance, you know, a year to 2 years down the line. And, you know, like you mentioned, if, you know, we both mentioned, when we know that the interest rates are going to get lower, they're just going to refinance. Then they got a good deal on their purchase price, and then they're also going to get a lower interest rate, but they got the house that they wanted. So, you know, it just depends. There's pros and cons every which way. With the higher interest rates, we have been seeing people taking advantage, you know, some people getting, you know, we've seen a lot of clients now getting full, you know, seller's concessions of 3% on a conventional offer, you know, so they're getting $10,000 in their cash to close covered, which is an amazing opportunity to take advantage of. And, you know, if you have to pay $100 more on your monthly mortgage payment, but keeping $10,000 in your pocket at the time of closing, you know, it's all going to be able to equal out and be the same anyway. So why not get the house of your dreams right now and then refinance later?
That's the difference I've been seeing as well. Is it's kind of, the game has switched where you're not paying that appraisal gap or over list price crazy amount up front.
Yeah.
Either you're financing it into your, you know, loan at a higher interest rate.
Right.
And Jamie, what is your favorite saying right now? With
let's hear it. Date the rate, marry the home.
There you go.
That's it. Date the rate, marry the home.
That's our favorite saying right now, because you're exactly right. And I think that's a key point, Ryan, is that how many buyers are out there that have $50,000 cash in a bank account? And that's what we were seeing on homes in Hilliard, homes in Dublin. You had to have 50 grand, you know, that you were going to guarantee if there was an appraisal deficit that you could come out of pocket and pay the difference when you were overbidding these houses. And so I think buyers, like you say, are in a much better position right now. I don't have to have 50,000. I can compete because I've got a good lender like Ryan Cochran at NFM.
Yes, sir.
And when I see, you know, an NFM pre-approval letter, you know, I know all you guys over there are damn good at what you do. You're not wasting your time. You're doing your due diligence. And so, you know, I tell my sellers, this is a good lender. And unfortunately, I do have a couple, 3 lenders on my list that if I see their name on a pre-approval, I'm going to tell my seller, you know, good deal, bad lender. And, you know, they don't do what they say they're going to do. You get to the week of closing. Oh, well, we forgot to do this. We forgot to do that. And they blame everybody else but themselves. But the guys at NFM, all you guys are top notch and have no problem with you guys at all. So those buyers that go in with a pre-approval letter from someone like NFM, you are going to be in a great position to be able to purchase a home and not have to have $40,000, $50,000 in the bank to be able to compete. And I think that's good for buyers.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. And, you know, that's something that we tell everyone that we come into contact with as well, is that, you know, who you're choosing as your lending company truly does matter. And you're going to get, you know, the product that the individual that you want to be successful with. And you got to be comfortable with them. So if you don't feel comfortable with that individual, then they're likely not going to have a good process. It's likely not going to, things are going to pop up during when you do get your contract accepted. So those words truly do mean a lot to us. And that's one of the reasons why we continue to strive for that excellence.
And who doesn't want to work with a good old rugby guy?
Yeah.
All right, Ryan, I appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us, talking a little bit about interest rates, where we are, where we're going, and give Ryan a call if you are thinking about buying a house. His contact information here on the screen, and I know that he'd be happy to help you out. Thanks again, Ryan.
Thanks, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too.